Let's see. Okay. Think we right on time. Okay, so we've talked about some really cool stuff already. It's great to have Anthropic here because I happen to use Anthropic. The Claude models are probably my favorite. I'm using 4.6 and I'll show you for the demo. The slides are just to have a placeholder for what we're going to go through today. And I'll give you a link in a second with a QR code so you can download them and put them on a shelf. And if you ever want to look at them, you could do that. We'll try to go into live stuff. I've got a live data source that I'm wearing. We'll use that. We're going to go and try to do as much actual stuff and not just slides. This is me. I'm local. You will see me. These are the slides, even if you don't want to. Oh, maybe I'll follow Tim on LinkedIn. Don't do it. There's hundreds of content coming at you. Some are human-based, some are agentic. They're blurring together. It's a lot. You might want to have an agent subscribe to me so it could filter that out. Otherwise, you'll be like, why is this guy sending me 100 articles and different things every day? That's too much, Tim. So don't do that. But to reiterate what some other people said, maybe a year ago, I was starting to do some AI to generate code, to generate content, to help out. And it was pretty good. And at Snowflake, we were all in on it. So we got access to everything. We started using Cursor. It was pretty good. The models with Claude 3, pretty good. Gemini, pretty good. In the last month, the move forward is amazing. We've gone in at Snowflake. Every single person has to be AI first. First thing I pick up in the day is our agentic coding model, Cortex Code. It can do anything in my environment, from the business documentation, find out what's going on with my customers, does that. But also, I want to build a demo. I'm writing demos in the corner because I type in there, it plans it out, and it has access to everything safely within our environments because we have it guarded within our own internal mechanisms to make sure it can only use that, and I only can access things I have permissions to. Very nice, but definitely look at skills. We've added skills to our coding environment, and it makes things come out how you want them. Not maybe like when I did Cursor, maybe in a couple hours, maybe a couple days of playing around, I'll get something that does mostly what I want. Now I sit down 15 minutes, put it into auto run, and it will have me the full demo that connects to my resources, builds front ends, adds any agentic layer on top, builds an MCP server securely, does all that, and does that against structured and unstructured data seamlessly, all inside a guarded environment, all inside of a proxied environment, all inside a secure environment. No calls go outside of a secure environment. Everything happens internally within my Snowflake encrypted account. And this is how we do it. I load in the skills, and I'll show you how we do that. Load some sources, have it start building stuff, and then I've got the magic future there. Like I said, I don't want to go through all slides because that's not fun. Can people read this screen? Is it too small? I know I like dark mode. Sorry. So I'm in a section where I can build our agents, and my agent is comprised of a number of different tools. We've just made it so you could add a secure web search in there, and we could add our own specific, what we call analysts on top of your structured data. So securely access things like tables, whether they're in an open lakehouse format like Iceberg or however you have them formatted. This adds metadata. So when I ask a query of my data, it knows what I mean because I tell it all the semantic features of my data. As rich as you need for writing a reporting system, it has it in there. And you either do it yourself or the agent builds it for you, and then you can review it. I tend to have it auto build it and then review it, save myself time. If you have unstructured data, I turn on a search engine, and then I could add my custom tools, which can be calling out to other MCP services securely, could be running a stored procedure, a function, some Python code, any custom tools I need to get things done. And what's nice is once I've defined it, which I could define it in SQL or use something like Terraform to auto build it, or most likely have the coding tool, which you can download, build it for me, and then go into the environment just to test it and play around with it. So in this environment, I could live try it out. So I put in a question there. It built out the steps, shows me the SQL it generated, runs the SQL, gets the results, builds everything from that SQL. But everything done there is within my permissions within the system, which can be severely locked down to say, Tim can only use Cortex 4 or 5. You can only get this many tokens. I can only run on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock. They can be really mean to me. They haven't done that yet. And then while we're running, we keep a complete running of what happened, a full threading, all of it stored and available for reporting, and also available to other agents so the agents can see, what maybe my agent did inefficiently. So we can continuously try to improve it to say, oh, we should move to a Gen 2 Snowflake warehouse, or we could add this speed up accelerator service, or you can move from Iceberg version 2 to version 3. Can give you all those helpful things because it has that data. It has the planning steps. It has a full trace of how it came up with my results, what tools it called, all its thinking steps. So as open as possible, all inside what we call Cortex Guard, which is our guardrails, to make sure things don't get weird. So there's a lot of different layers to protect your prompts, but building skills and using skills is really important. And then, like I mentioned, those semantic views, there's an open semantic interchange group that we established, and we've invited all the major data players in it. So it's Amazon, it's the major AI players, it's the major data quality players, and we've all agreed on a common format for how semantic data should be defined on top of your data. So there's a standard. So when you write anything against your data, it knows what are the logical tables, what are the field names, is there synonyms for them, do you have sample values, what kind of metrics are there, and even more importantly for people first using this within an agent, what should I ask of this data? Because maybe you don't know, or maybe, again, you could have an agent watching your logs, watching Slack, and say, okay, these are the most common questions people asked, and pre-build them. So here's your human in the loop can verify them. So we go in and go, okay, this one people asked, this is the SQL we generated. Did the results look good? Now we could have a human validate this or have an LLM judge do it. There's a lot of things. People have written agents to verify the other agents, and maybe those are a sub agent. It can get a little complex, but what's nice here is we have an environment to test this with even more secure environment before I deploy that to a customer user. I can make sure it seems to work the way I want, look at the trace routes, and again, lock it down. So if only HR could look at this one, only HR could do that. And the AI respects all the existing security we have on the data. It has all the PII built in, all the redactions, all the things you can't see, AI can't see for you. So it runs within your role. So if I can't see it, the AI can't see it, can't get around it. It is locked into this mechanism of getting your data. There's no way anybody's getting into bad data or data they shouldn't get to. Now, right now, it's command line. because it makes it cooler. But you can plug this into VS Code, and we are considering releasing a IDE version of this. It also runs in our native web environment, but the command line makes it feel, to me, more old school Linux, which is era I come from. But it'd be nice to know what skills we have, so I can load any of the awesome Claude skills. But we've developed skills, and I've developed some of my own that are very specific to what we do at Snowflake. So it's data, it's things about data engineering, build a React app that's data enabled, so it can access either Snowflake data or any semantic data or MCP sources, what have you, but it's been trained and the skills are very in-depth for that. We've also added extra context that's stored in the system. Again, you saw those basics you need to do. If you haven't done skills yet, please do skills. It really brings it to the next level. If you know what you want to do and it's repeatable, all it takes is a pretty basic markdown document. And now you have something that's repeatable every time. I want to build a Streamlit dashboard that looks like X. Now it looks like X every time. It doesn't have to waste tokens figuring out. And you can provide as much code as you want. If you've already developed code for years, don't throw that away. You could use that as a reference to build on top of. This is building on top of what exists, what Claude has built with their 4.6 models. We can also switch models. We are not tied to a specific, you don't have to use one model. Now, it'll automatically pick a good one, but I really like the Claude models. They've been really accurate, really good. And I really support what Anthropic's doing with not supporting military use. And for them, yeah, they have a philosopher. I don't want our AI, and we're on the same page. We don't want our AI used for war. And having a philosopher help teach the model to have morals, awesome. So I always pick one of the Claude ones, and the 4.6 ones, unbelievable. Like the stuff, while I've been doing this in the corner, I developed 2 new apps, and it's full apps. I'll show you a couple examples here that are running. So I have, as you saw in the talk, there's a whole bunch of random things in it, Transit AI, Ghosts. So I had a couple example apps that I built years ago by hand, took weeks, hand coding everything. I can't make good UIs. I can pick a good jacket, but making a good UI is tough. So I'm like, build this design of a dashboard, grab real data, grab all this data from different tables, from different MCP servers. You figure out which way you want to go. I'll give you suggestions, point you to where the data sits in a database. Let's get some fresh data. I had it built a Snowpipe streaming application. This is a Python app to load data. Now, I don't know if you've heard of the Meshtastic network. I'm wearing one of the nodes right here. This goes over long range. It's a long range protocol, LoRa, that piggybacks on Bluetooth low energy. And I'm like, I don't know how that works, but I bought one. So I'm like, how do I load this data? And it built this for me. And it's using our latest protocol. Writing this stuff from hand was a consultant job. If one of my financial customers came to me and said, Tim, I want to load from some weird network source I've never seen before, okay, let's scope out a contract and get some people who maybe have learned it. It's going to take a while. 20 minutes later, I have a high-speed Meshtastic reader that loads data from not just the node attached to me. Mesh is a mesh network, so they piggyback off each other, which is why I can reach nodes that are hundreds of miles away here, even though this is not using Wi-Fi or any commercial networks. It is bouncing off, so this could be, you could use this as off-grid communication. So it figured that out, figured out all the hops, figured out the devices here, and is just sending new data over our pipes into one of my tables. We could find the right table. I've been trying to keep everything running and clean here while we're doing that. So that's just getting this new data here. And it broke it up into all the different columns. It's sparse because there's no enforcement on the Meshtastic network for that you have to have everything. They tend to have where they are, which is helpful when you look at the maps. And that's kind of useful when you have data in the real world to connect them together. But the one thing we get is, since we have very sparse data, one of the fields I put into the data, it actually suggested it, is a raw version of the JSON data, and it puts it in the nodes because we can work with that pretty easily within Snowflake. So that's nice to have. So then I'm like, I saw this cool app a week ago called, it was like Operation Desk or Situation Desk, and it's free to subscribe, and it shows you all these different sources in the world, and it squeezes it into one page. So I went into Cortex code, and do I want to keep that running? Why not? And I said, build me an app like the Situation Desk, and I put in a couple of feeds, and I've built up a plan beforehand. If you want things to go right, though, write it out first in a document with references to apps you like that work. Again, if you have code you like, point to it, say, use this. Like I point to it, say, use this for key pair login to Snowflake. I don't want you to use PATS. I don't want you to use JWT. Use this, and it'll use that and stay to those guidelines. And then you can walk through it, how it does the skill. Build me a dashboard on demo AQ data. That's one of my data. I spelled it wrong. We'll see if it figures that out. So I like the format they had because they have everything on one dashboard. So, there's aircraft data, weather data, traffic data. This is if the Bloomberg terminal exploded in your face. It's like a lot of stuff. But I'm like, that's cool. Let me build one. Would I have built one from hand before? No, am I going to use it? I'm like, but it's cool to show because this is all different live data. Some of it is my data I have stored in Snowflake tables. Some of it's live RSS feeds. Some of it's live REST feeds. I said, pick the ones you want. And it created a whole bunch of sources because I looked at the sources that they had at Situation Desk, and I'm like, let me find those and put those in there. Any of the ones that I already have in a table or are available, let me use those. And it built it out pretty good. Gives me market data. And I told it, make it linkable. So I could see if I want to look at details on the Apple feeds or whatever the data is. So that one's pretty cool. This is the one I built for today's I didn't build it. I checked it. So I guess I built it. I typed build this for the conference. And I put a link to the conference in my talk, and I said, build this for me. It had a couple of bugs, and I've been tweaking it. I don't know. I'll probably change the skin on that one. That one's not the best UI there. This one, again, this one's really busy, but this is New York data because I'm loading the live MTA feed for buses and subways and traffic cameras, plus my mesh stuff, plus air quality reads, plus the local airport. I've got a antenna that grabs those, put them in one dashboard, links to my Cortex AI, which is sitting on top of Claude, so I can ask questions on the data if I want to do any of that chat. So chat's a little weak because why do I need chat when I've got this guy to do it? Did I pick how did it get the table? Okay. So the one I just prompted for, it figured it out. It was smarter than me. It's like, Tim, did you mean that one? I'm like, I guess I did. I put it in a mode I don't recommend you do. I put it in no prompt. Usually every single step, it says, Tim, do you want to run LS? Tim, do you want to create a directory? And then I'm sitting there. Yes, I don't care what you do, man. This is all demo environment. Have fun. I trust it because this code assistant to me it's like an intern. He means good. He's going to do a good job. If he screws up, I'll say, hey, try again. But it's pretty good. It figured it out here. I don't know if this will work because we just built it. I don't know if it has a login. What did it build? Let's take a look. Now I could just continue that session, even though I've got 4 or 5 of those sessions running. It's got that code. I'll just go back where I was. It has a long memory and keeps the context for you encrypted. What did it build for me? Where did it put it? Did it create a directory? Oh, there it is. I don't know if that's going to work because I didn't give it a login credentials. I don't know. Let's see. Is it using the same port? Oh, that's not good. I got to shut the other one down. I should have told it use a unique port. I guess that's my bad for not telling it everything going on in the world. I guess I don't need to read this card over here anymore. Try to figure out which one is that port. I had it build it. I didn't set up a skill to tell it what the runner should be for these apps. So each one looks different. So I really got to normalize that. Sometimes it thought it should do a really nice one. Some it should do a real basic one. Hopefully I picked the right one there. But let's get questions while we see if this one we just built worked. It seems to be doing something. Oh, I broke it because it doesn't have a login. So what we could do is, well, we don't have time for that. I'll be playing with that at lunch, going, fix that, guys. Fix the air quality dashboard. Okay. Do we have any questions? I know this was very straightforward and there wasn't much involved here as opposed to the other talks. But, one last thing. How hard is it to create an MCP server? MCP server, point to the tools you want to have it access, and then you just use our standard Snowflake security to enable that. Now, I could plug that into Cursor or anything else to use that and use that as you want. Of course, you have to have permissions and whatever security there. Any questions on stuff?
Thank you so much. That the dashboard was immaculate. One of the questions that I have pertaining to skills particularly, what we are currently facing in our organization is, so we have just started to tinker with AI agents in our in-house production workflows, but we also want to pitch some of our solutions to our clients. Now, one of the reasons why a lot of our clients are not jumping on the bandwagon and becoming AI native is one of their concerns is consistency across data transformations. And so just to hyper localize on a very specific use case. So we have a use case where the agent has to take a specific decision at a point in our workflow and then transform the data from an unstructured format to a very specific structured format. So do you think in this specific use case, having a meticulously written skills document can be valuable?
Yeah, the skill could do it. And to make it even more static is to have it build a DBT project or something else that is designed to handle that. And maybe if it changes, like you have to do this for different customers, you make that template as part of the prompt and say, use this template and these are the specific steps. Because they have places where within the prompt, again, Claude came up with these really in-depth skills you could define. You could also have it prompt for variables to fill in. Okay, you put the table name here, you put this here, and really have it the full plan in there. So it follows the plan, especially if you're using the newer, again, pushing Claude models. Other ones can do it too, but I know the Claude ones follow it really meticulously. It's their spec.
Thank you.
Great talk first thing. And in terms of like multi-agent orchestration on IoT devices, like latency does matter. So some of the things where the latencies of emittance is different, how do you like usually would coordinate or recommend? Any specific thing that stood out in Cortex or?
Oh, so are you saying, are they reporting, you have them in however A to A or MCP or some other protocol you called it and it doesn't come back? Yeah, there are 8 ways to call them asynchronously and then have retries. It goes back to this is why having the programming background makes sense. Like anything you had to do before with asynchronous calls, you could do again. And there are some people using, say, something like Kafka or another pipeline sitting in between to make sure things happen. If you need them to happen in a certain order, most of these agents are designed to fire and forget in every direction. And when they come back, they use it. If it doesn't come back after a certain time, you set a thing to say, okay, try a different provider of that. Again, as they have more specs for how do I look up similar or the same providers and stuff. If you're doing something where it's like an IoT mesh kind of network, you get what you get each time. You do a poll, you get back what you get back, and it doesn't come back sometimes. It'll be sparse. You can have skills that fill in that sparseness if it makes sense. If I know this value is probably going to be the same temperature reading 90% of the calls, if I miss 2 or 3, it's better to end it quickly, go on to the next thing.
Any more questions? Cool. Is Noam here? Okay, cool. Do you have the
I have short announcement. We've got t-shirts, LLMday t-shirts. So you're welcome to grab a t-shirt there at the back of the hall.